In this lesson, we'll learn how to use Scale tool and we'll learn how to resize an object using Scale tool. Using Scale tool, you can scale or resize an object uniformly or non-uniformly. To begin with, let's create a new document here and grab a rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on your artboard somewhere here. Let's change the field color. For instance, let's say we want to increase the size of the rectangle. Now the quick way to increase the size of the rectangle is, if you click on the rectangle, selecting selection tool, you will notice that the path created on the rectangle. We can click on any of this path and we can drag and resize the rectangle. Let's undo this. But sometimes that can be rather annoying because it will distort the orientation of the shape. To maintain the orientation and the actual position of the shape, we have different ways to scale our object in Illustrator. First way to scale the object is grab a corner here, hold on the Shift key and drag. As you drag, you will notice that the actual shape itself will maintain its proportion and orientation. Now if you want to center scale it, hold Shift key, drag, at the same time hold Alt key, then you will notice that it will scale from the center without changing the actual position of the shape. And this is another way to scale an object. Another way to scale an object is by selecting the Free Transform tool from Tools panel and clicking the corner of the shape, drag and resize the shape. Now another way to scale an object is just by giving specific size. We can do that by double clicking on the Scale tool on Tools panel, or we can go to Object, Transform and select Scale tool, and you will notice the Scale dialog box appears. Here we have Scale option where we can scale or resize the shape uniformly or non-uniformly. For example, if you want to resize the shape uniformly, click Uniform and change the value here. And you will notice that when the number is changing, it scales. And click OK and you will have your shape on your board. And if you double click on Scale tool again and resize the shape by non-uniform. First let's make the uniform to 100. Then let's say we will change the value of the horizontal. Then you will notice that it increases and decreases the size horizontally. Similarly, let's change the value in vertical. Let's change and you will notice that it increases and decreases the size vertically. Now you will notice that in Option panel you have Scale Strokes and Effects. What this option does is, if you want to add some effects or strokes onto an object, or if you have stroke around the object, it will actually scale the stroke according to the size of an object. So right now we don't have stroke around the object. So now let's add a stroke, a black stroke, and increase the size of the stroke. We'll increase to 20 points. And now we have a rectangle with black stroke. Now let's scale the object. Let's double click on the scale tool. If we were to scale, let's say to 200%, then we will notice that size of the stroke remains same. And if we select scale stroke and effect, then we will notice that the size of the stroke increases accordingly with the size of an object. Let's see again. Let's uncheck this one, and we can see that the size of the stroke remains same. And when we select this one, then we can see the size of the stroke increases accordingly with the size of an object. Click OK. So this is how we work with Scale tool in Adobe Illustrator.